Hi, I'm Donna from donnaonthebeach.com and welcome to Ask Donna, the video series where I answer your questions about making your dreams a reality. This week's question comes from Alison, who says, I've had a really big knockback in my big dream. I'm so disappointed and feel like everything I've worked towards is a waste and I feel like a total failure. I really feel for you, Alison. My heart just broke a little bit just reading your question. And here's the truth of the matter. Most people who go after something big face some kind of knockback or disappointment or roadblock. It's not an easy path. I wish I could sugarcoat it for you guys and say, yeah, it's all going to be fine, it's all going to be easy. But number one, it's not. And number two, that does a real disservice to those people who do hit a bit of a roadblock or have a massive knockback because they feel like they're alone in it and they're not. So that's the first thing that I want you to know, Alison, is that it's quite common for people who go after something big to get big knockbacks, big disappointments. And you're not alone in this. So here is my 3-step plan for you. Number one, extreme self-care, like extreme self-care. Like I want you to baby yourself. I want you to wrap yourself in cotton wool. I want you to really take care of yourself. When we have these knockbacks, it is a mental, emotional and spiritual blow. And if we had such a physical blow, we'd give ourselves time to recover. But because there's no outward sign of the flaying we've just received, we kind of think, oh, I'm just going to carry on as normal. No, you need to take really super good care of yourself. You need to have the time to process how you feel. And I'm guessing that you feel really hurt and really sad. And perhaps there's some anger there too, and some frustration. And you need to be able to feel all of those things. So extreme self-care. I did a podcast about extreme self-care because just after Easter and some other interruptions in life, I got sick and I had to stop and really take care of myself. And then when I was trying to come back to work, I realised that I had to keep going with the extreme self-care because I just wasn't up to getting back to work and getting back into my normal routine. So I did a podcast about it. I'm going to link to that in the box below. So have a listen to that and that will help you. The second thing is you need to process what you're feeling. You need to process all this stuff. So it's no good hanging on to it. Because sometimes we do that. We go, oh, massive disappointment, massive knockback, push it all down, pretend it's not there and carry on and everything's fine. And there's this little stone in our heart that's like cankering away. And at some point that's going to come out. Now to me, it might as well come out sooner rather than later. But obviously you need to do this in a kind of, in a safe way for you, which is why you start with extreme self-care. So you start by cradling yourself and nurturing yourself and being really, really good to you. And the question that I ask in the podcast, which I'm going to give to you guys here, just in case you don't listen to the podcast, is what would I do today if I were taking extreme good care of myself? What would I do today if I were taking extreme good care of myself? And just answer that question on a daily basis and do it. So you're taking extremely good care of yourself, you're nurturing yourself, you know, you're feeding yourself good foods, you're mentally taking care of yourself, emotionally, spiritually taking care of yourself. Then safely you need to process what's going on with you. So my favourite ways to do this are talking about it with somebody who is able to help me process it in whatever way I need. So sometimes that can be someone, you know, if I want someone to be outraged on my behalf, I know who to go to. I know that if I go to a certain friend and I go, no, they did this to me, it's a shame, she'll be outraged on my behalf and she'll help me to process that feeling of outrage. If I want to be supported in my big dream, I know who to go to, because I know the person who most believes in my big dream. So I know to go to her if that's what I want. If I just want a hug, I go to my mum. So figure out what it is you need and go to that person. Another of my favourite ways is by writing. And over on over on Facebook, my Donna on the Beach page on Facebook this month, the daily practice is to write. And I have, every day I have a journal prompt to help you to write whatever. I also do the morning pages every day. So I write 3 pages of longhand, just whatever goes through my head. And I think that process would be a really great thing for you. Really great thing, because you can help yourself to really process the hurt and the disappointment and the fact that you feel like a failure, because we don't always want to share that with people, and sometimes you can't share your deepest, darkest fears with the people that you love because you're scared they'll believe you. But you do need to process it. So writing it, and the morning pages is a process from Julia Cameron's The Artist's Way, and she recommends that you don't keep the morning pages, you write them and you chuck them. So you know that it's a cathartic process where you just write like, oh, I'm so pissed off and I'm so hurt and I'm so disappointed and I feel like such a failure, la, 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 and you can get it all out, and then you can throw it away. And it's all out of your system. It's not in the back of your head going, I'm still here, you know, I still think you're a failure, I'm still here. And that's what a lot of us do, you know, the emotional hurt we push and put into a little box and forget about it and pretend it's not there. And mentally we do the same thing, like just put it to the back in a little cupboard and it'll never be seen again. Not so, because it's always there rattling. So writing, a great way to process it. Also movement is a great way to process things. I find dancing is a really good way to process how I feel. Now, I am not a contemporary dancer, and if you were to see me dancing how I feel, you wouldn't get it. But it's just about moving your body in a way that feels right to the music, that feels right. So it may be that you feel like, oh, it's a shame for me, and that you can do that kind of holding myself, and then I'm really angry, that kind of, you know, really moving and pushing out the way you feel and kind of moving your way through it. I hope that makes sense and doesn't just make me look like a crazy person again. I always look like a crazy person in these videos. Anyway, so those are my 3 favourite ways to process, is talking, writing, moving. It doesn't have to be dance. It can be, you could box, you could walk, you could run. I know people who do all of those things. For me, I prefer to dance because I don't have a punch bag and I'm far too lazy to run. So and then the 3rd step in your 3-step process. So we've got extreme self-care is number 1, process how you feel number 2, and number 3 is get back in touch with your big dream. Now this comes later, this comes after extreme self-care, it comes after processing, and only you will know when in that stage you're ready. You know, you don't have to process everything in order to be able to move to stage 3, but you do need to process some of it, because it'll be like a lead weight pulling you back when you try and move forward on your big dream. But get back in touch with your big dream. We all have knockbacks. You know, I've been in business for 8 years and I'm still not master of the universe. You know, I mean, what's going on here? When I wrote my ebook, it didn't sell as well as I wanted it to. I've had coaching programs where nobody signed up. You know, we've all had these knockbacks and these disappointments, and part of the thing, I think, is that you get stronger as you go through these things. And you know, I would like to say to those upstairs who are in charge of the world, you know what, I could live without getting stronger. But actually I know that each experience, each disappointment, each failure, each knockback has made me stronger, has made me more determined actually to move forward. So get back in touch with your big dream, get back in touch with what it is that you wanted to do in the first place, that you felt so passionate about, that if you didn't feel that passionate about, you wouldn't be this hurt. And that's the truth of the matter, is that our big dreams really matter. A lot of people don't ever gain the courage to take that step it takes huge courage to move towards your big dream, and huge courage to get back on the horse when you've got such a knockback. But if your big dream is still important to you, don't let the knockback stop you. But first, extreme self-care, process how you feel, and then get back to your big dream. And if anyone else is watching, I have a feeling there's someone watching who got a knockback and didn't go back to their big dream. Maybe it's time you did. Maybe it's time that you went back and had another go. You know, think of all the authors who had rejection after rejection after rejection. Think of all the people who dreamed something huge and everyone around them said it's just not possible. Think of all the business people who have gone bankrupt and have gone out of business. And trust me, most successful business people have failures in their past, because that's the nature of it. It's hard, you know, going after your big dream. It's hard. It's hard work. It takes so much from you. It's so rewarding as well that it's a life without big dreams for me is a life not worth even contemplating. But it's correspondingly difficult. So be gentle with you, but get back on the horse. So that's this week's Ask Donna. Alison, I hope it helped you, and I am sending you a huge virtual hug. If you have a question that you'd like me to answer, please either leave a comment below this video, come over to my website, donnaonthebeach.com, and use the contact page there, or you can find me on Facebook, facebook.com/donnaonthebeach, or I'm on Twitter if your question is really small. It's twitter.com/donnaonthebeach. Take really good care of yourselves, and may all your dreams become reality.